Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe Kazana, and we're here on the Joe Kazana podcast. And of course, I've got my co-host, The Spank, and we are thrilled to welcome in the National Wrestling Alliance World Junior Heavyweight Champion, third generation wrestler, Kerry Morton. Kerry, thank you so much for being on my podcast.
Joe, what an introduction! It's an honor to be here on the show and be in the presence of old Spank and Joe Kazana. You can't go wrong there.
Yeah, sure, okay. You just go ahead and keep buttering me up, and I'll talk really good about
Joe
you the rest
Kazana,
of the night.
We got to mention something. We got to mention something real quickly before we go on. We got to mention about the OG, one of the OG Golden Boys of professional wrestling. That's right. That's Joe Kazana.
Well, thank you.
Championship Wrestling lineage from your father and your grandfather, and it's just a carry. And I'm like, this is really interesting and neat, and a lot of people don't know that. So,
I appreciate it.
Joe Kazana. Yes, sir.
I do appreciate it. I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt, and I know you know this. You saw it on the documentary, and you've heard it all the time from me and your dad. Ricky Morton and myself are the only two people in the world that's never had an argument. The wrestling business is full of people that want to argue and do this. Your dad and I never had a crossword, never did. And I know that my grandfather was the same way with your granddad, with Paul. So I mean, the Mortons, Kazanas, we all go back such a long way,
I'm very thankful to be in the, when I look back and reflect in these past 3 years professional wrestling, I'm glad my journey came along to meet the Kazanas, and because genuinely it's been nothing but the best. And I can go on and on. But
we could even talk about the night you blacked my eye. I know you blame it on AJ, but I don't know. He blames it on you.
Listen here, podcast listeners. We got to get something straight. So let's change the scenario real quickly. Let's go back.
Okay.
Sold out a venue. It's the Kazanas versus Joe Kazana and AJ Kazana, which is Joe's son, or all those that know, versus my father, Ricky Morton, and myself, Kerry Morton. And we're locking horns. It's the generational battle. Really, really neat. And halfway through the match, Joe is lighting us up, and it's fantastic. And I'm getting my ass whooped in the corner. And then all of a sudden, I get the hot tag. And Joe Kazana goes on the mat, and he said, "You blacked my eye." I said, "Joe, I didn't black your eye."
No, I was not on the mat. You and AJ came flying over the top rope, and one of you, if not both of you probably were talking about it on your way down. Let's go ahead and black his eye on the way down. You use the boots right here in the face, and it's like, oh my God, big gash in the eye right here. I don't care who did it. It was a fun match. We had fun.
I hate that the eye was black, but it was a genuine fun match.
It was. Yeah. I mean, and I'll probably never work with either one of you again as far as wrestling goes. But that was fun. That was fun.
I don't know if you knew this or not, but I think you already booked yourself in doing a 30-minute little Broadway here in the
with who?
But myself, Joe Kazana.
Oh, good God! No. You'd work circles around me.
But by golly, I would love to do it.
I wish I was 25 again, man. I would love to get in there with you and do 30 minutes. I used to do it with your dad. I've done it with a lot of the other greats.
Yes, sir.
I'd love to get in there and go 30 minutes with you.
Oh, that would mean the world. I would love that even more.
And then Ronnie West, bless his heart, God rest his soul, if he were still alive, he could come out and say, "Give us 5 more. Luger hadn't shown up yet." Well, let's get off of this whole thing and let's get on to what we do here on my podcast. And you and I both know that there's 5,000 different, podcasts out there geared towards the WWE or AEW.
Yes, sir.
What we talk about here is strictly National Wrestling Alliance, Joe Kazana Promotions, and anything, for example, that my guest has going on. Yeah. If you're going to work for the Wet T-Shirt Wrestling Organization or whatever,
I like that one.
which you probably would.
Listen, I think so too.
But that's kind of what we do is we talk about what we're all into here, and it's kind of strange if you stop and you step back and you think, here we are again, your dad and I doing NWA business, and we've got both our sons doing NWA business, and it's like everything's come full circle, with all of us, and I always knew coming in that you and AJ, your paths would always cross,
Yes,
just
sir.
like mine and your dad's did, and just enjoy the ride. I mean, it was fun with Punky and Hoot, and it'll be fun with you guys as soon as you guys figure out that this is the greatest thing in the world, But
You know,
you know,
great point there, Joe. It's cool to say too. We're both current champions in the National Wrestling Alliance, which is
yeah,
just
and that's the first thing I was wanting to talk to you about. Let's set this thing up real quick.
yes,
Here you
sir.
have now. This is in East Tennessee alone. You have Kerry Morton, NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion. AJ Kazana, one half of the NWA United States Tag Team Champions, and you got Kenzie Page, one half of the NWA World Women's Tag Team Champions. Now, what does that say to you about East Tennessee wrestling?
That East Tennessee crew is one hard crew to handle. That's for sure. That's for
Exactly.
it's cool. It's really humbling to know that East Tennessee is getting the respect it rightfully deserves in professional wrestling and current day times. Mind you, during the early 2000s, the late 90s, independent wrestling was kind of a splur, to give or take. It wasn't taken seriously. The houses weren't as big as they are currently now. And I think East Tennessee professional wrestlers specifically weren't respected enough. That they were staying in the area. Promoters weren't taking chances on us at the time, and it comes to show 2023, 2022, after the pandemic and so on before that East Tennessee wrestling is alive and well, and we're putting on beautiful shows, and we have a talented crew that's
There's no
traveling all over
doubt.
the world,
I
traveling
would
all over the
take
world wrestling.
Kerry. I would take the NWA crew right now, and I would go up against any crew out there, pound for pound, top to bottom, men or women, tag teams. It doesn't matter. There's not many people, I think, in other federations that would be better. I mean, as far as talent wise, because the talent in the National Wrestling Alliance is second to none. And we're talking about champions. We're also going to talk a little bit about generational. Here you have Kerry Morton, third generation. You've got AJ Kazana, third generation. You've got Samantha Starr, also in the NWA, who's also a third generation wrestler, who just
Okay.
happens to be the daughter of the first lady of professional wrestling, Baby Doll, Nicola Roberts. So, I mean, how can you go wrong with this crew? I mean, it's a special crew. It's a great crew.
Very, very special. And even lineage back, for just a few months, you had Colby Carino, you had PJ Hawks, which is second generation wrestler, Colby Carino, and that's just some respect too. Is Billy and the crew at National Wrestling Alliance is putting a lot of respect and taking a lot of trust, and us young guns jumping the
Mm-hmm.
scene, and they're putting a lot of faith in us, and that's something I can't be more thankful about, because when some wouldn't give us a chance, they did, and as of 2023, it's paying off as a current day, showing off the world. The ratings are bigger than ever, and the NWA is getting a lot of steam behind it.
Well, there's
And
a lot of steam. Yeah, you're 100% right. There's a lot of steam behind everything that's going on with the NWA. I mean, you got Tyrus, who's the world champion, and he is on what? He's on Fox Network, and it's like, okay, well, he's mainstream, but yeah, here he takes the NWA title out on Fox every week. So I mean, that's great publicity and great exposure there. I know you are a
wonderful.
traveling champion, and I've said this to anybody that'll listen to me. I am more proud of that than I am anything as far as what you're doing. You're a great young wrestler, but what I'm proud of is the fact that you take that championship and you take it all around the country to wherever you go. I think you were even North Dakota the other day,
That's
and
right.
and you're defending the championship, which is exactly what a champion should do. The National Wrestling Alliance, you're talking about, you're going back to 1948, the oldest governing body there ever was. And every champion they had, as far as world champions, they were travelers. And you were doing that, and tip my hat to you for that, because that is impressive.
With,
And
with
again, I'm as proud as I can be about that. I know that talking with Anthony Andrews and AJ the other night, they're going to do the exact same thing.
with
They want to
Joe and
travel, and I think it's terrific, man.
and Joe and Spank, thank you for acknowledging that means the world. And first and foremost, I got the blessing recently, Ric Flair, I think I mentioned this before. He went on the air and he said, Kerry, he was talking about it on a podcast with ESPN. He was like, "Who's your draft pick in professional wrestling and why?" And he mentioned a few people, and then my name got brought up into the scene, and it was humbling to hear. And what kind of knowledge is it that was, such as him, Ric Flair, one of the greatest of all time, the GOAT, I would say, even.
Agreed.
Traveled with that championship all over and defended it all over the world, and that was something I wanted to acknowledge. Excuse my dog in the background.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
That was something I wanted to acknowledge. I wanted to be a traveling champion. And the second I won that belt in November, I had bookings lined up in West Virginia and Florida and Maine and Chicago and California. And that's something I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring this championship, and I'm going to get the blessing from Billy and the promoters and let them all kind of coordinate, and let's have this championship defended on these platforms. I even took it to New Jersey and beat GCW's finest.
Let's just pause a second. Let's talk about this the Kerry Morton of GCW for a second.
Ooh.
I think I recall talking to you probably about 3 or 4 months ago, and I said, Kerry, I think if you develop an attitude geared towards where, by God, you're the best, and you're the best, and there's nobody that can touch you. I said, I think that'll go a long way. And some of the stuff that I've seen you post out there as far as this GCW thing, again, my hat's off to you for that, because it's kind of like you switch gears.
Joe, let's acknowledge the pink elephant in the room, right? Let's acknowledge the GCW World Champion for just a second. I shouldn't give him the credit, but I'm going to for just a moment. Let's acknowledge him, Nick Gage, right? The MDK gimmick, right? The all day. It's embarrassing. That's what it is. It's genuinely embarrassing, and it hurts my feelings to know that a guy like me, a guy Joe Kazana that defends that championship with pride and has a lot of sportsmanship and wants to be a top dog, and you have Nick Gage defending the belt. It's embarrassing. No, they need me, Joe. I don't need them. They need me. And
I agree with you 100%. I mean, but here's the kicker: you are a world champion. Okay, you're going to say this, and I know it's coming. I want more world championships. I get that,
right.
But you are the world junior heavyweight champion of the oldest governing body that's ever been around. Been around longer than WWF, WWE, WCW. I mean, it's still going strong. So why worry about GCW?
Yeah, it's not that I really worry about him. And I exactly what you were saying. I understand I'm a world champion, the National Wrestling Alliance World Junior Heavyweight Champion. That's something I'm very proud of, quote unquote. But I'm very humbled to take that championship everywhere. But something bugs me. It's like the territorial day in a way. You have the WWE, you have All Elite Wrestling, you have, Ring of Honor in that aspect, New Japan Professional Wrestling, AAA, Major League Wrestling assortment, and then the National Wrestling Alliance. And now it's kind of, you got Game Changer Wrestling brought up in the scene, and rightfully I'm there time and time again. And those wrestling fans,
they're a different breed, aren't they?
They don't understand it. They're a different breed, and rightfully someone needs to come across and slap them all in the mouth. That's what they need to do. And spit on them and slap them in the mouth. That's what.
God, that sounds like somebody I know that's so familiar to me. God, who used to say that back in the dadblim 1980s? Oh, wait a minute, that would have been your pop.
That would have been my pop. That's right. So listen, me and my beautiful dog here, we went up to the Carolinas. And we went and saw Jordan Oliver at Game Changer Wrestling, and Brett Lauderdale, mind you, paid me a lot of money to bring that championship there, and that's what I did. A rightful champion brings his championship there, and that's what I did, and I still win time and time again. But Brett, the boss of the company, is politicking his own self for me not getting a title shot opportunity, because he knows, Joe, he rightfully knows that if I get in the ring of Nick Gage, the top dog that he once had is a dead dog.
Oh, goodness gracious. And I tell you what, we've heard it here on the JCP podcast. I mean, you're pretty much calling out, I guess, other than I don't know exactly what. Again, I respect all wrestling. I respect all wrestlers to an extent. I don't understand the whole, light tubes jumping off of this into an exploding casket or whatever it is that they do. I don't understand that because that's not my era. You want to talk about barbed wire? You want to talk about steel cage, Indian strap match, Russian chain match? That's fine. I didn't even like the fact that the guys back in my day got on these scaffolds. I thought that was the stupidest thing in the world. And Jim Cornette will tell you to this day that was the stupidest thing he ever did. And he would have said that damn Bubba Rogers, he didn't catch me. So but I know it's a niche. I don't know Nick Gage from Adam. I wouldn't know him if I saw him on the street. I've heard a lot about him.
Sure.
But again, you are a professional wrestler. You are a world champion. You don't have anything to prove.
No,
And I'm sure it's just like you want to prove it to you. I get it. But just be careful.
Yeah, listen,
because they're all against you in that territory, man.
Oh, I'm sure me saying this right now, someone's going to get on here and make some clickbait on Kerry Morton said this on Joe Kazana's podcast. But rightfully so, Joe. When I go there and I have that monumentous moment of having that NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship and the GCW World Heavyweight Championship on my shoulder, Joe Kazana is going to be there. The Spank's going to be there. The whole crew of the National Wrestling Alliance
I'd be happy to be there.
To acknowledge the GCW World Champion, Kerry Morton. Oh, man, it's going to be a wild moment.
Cardona did it. I don't see why you couldn't do it.
Cardona did it, and that's someone I genuinely look up to. And now the young gun, the young pup on the scene, so to say, is going to do it as well when Brett Lauderdale stops politicking for me not to get a championship opportunity.
Listen, man, you've got nothing to prove. So I mean, it is what it is. You get there. You don't. You're already a champion. Even the day comes that you lose the world championship. I'm sure there's another championship out there you're going to go after. I mean, maybe you and AJ ought to tag up and go after La Rebellion.
I love it. Listen, we got to put some credit to AJ Kazana right now. People watch him, and obviously people will know amongst the local audience here and the Joe Kazana local promotions, but the NWA too is. AJ's got to get a lot of credit, man. What a strong boy. What a strong man, I should say. A strong man AJ Kazana is. I wrestled him on NWA USA this a few months ago, and man, AJ Kazana completely pressed me in the air where I was so vulnerable.
I saw it. It was like, he's standing here, and I say, dude, you going to drop him? I mean,
7 feet in the air and drops me. Held me there. I didn't have anything to do. I mean, what am I going to do? I'm going to fight this giant while I'm 7 feet above the air? I mean, going to slam my face.
It's like me taking a body slam from Elegante. You can't fight that. You know what I mean?
Can't fight it.
I mean, and you've wrestled, AJ a few times. One time in particular, I remember, was it Always Ready? It was a tag team thing. It was you and your pop, AJ and Anthony, Plunkett and Alex. Your opponent this coming Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Great match it was. Deals got involved in that, and we kind of got him out of the way, and then you took Plunkett out. But there was a spot in that match, and they still show it to this day. AJ had you here like this, and absolutely just went kerplunk, and your face was like you'd just eaten a really sour pickle or an apple, or it was like ah.
It was. I'm laughing about it now, but then at the moment, it was not a fun moment.
It was a great match. I mean, it really was. I've not seen a bad match that you all had. You had a match with him on one-on-one in Harriman. I guess it was a couple of years ago.
Yes, sir.
And I told both of you then. I said, you guys got chemistry. Yes, there are certain people that you got chemistry with. I had chemistry with your dad. You've got chemistry with him, and I'm sure that one of these days that it'll be revisited. But right now, you kind of sort of are fighting on the same side of the tracks a little bit.
That's right.
Shall we say? Let's go back to New Orleans for a second.
Yes, sir.
I was there when you beat Homicide. I was watching from my vantage point. It looked like that Homicide was absolutely just tearing you a new one. I mean, beating you, chopping you. And I know you hate chops. I get it. Who doesn't? especially the two-handed jobs.
Woo!
But
Those are spicy.
Homicide has what a talent Homicide is. But for you to beat a great professional wrestler like Homicide, man, that took a lot of oomph, basically, because you were almost fighting from underneath all night long. Describe how you did that.
Yes, sir. So going into this matchup particularly, I was traveling on the road, flying out to different cities. But it always, I'd go to class, and it always was in the back of my mind that I want that championship. And I think what came to it most importantly that night is who wanted the championship more. And that's something that I acknowledged, and I wanted, and I fought, and I surrounded my whole entire day's work with was I'm fighting for this championship. I'm going to this ring expecting the unexpected. And that's exactly what I think I did. When the opportunity came, and we went 13 minutes going into the finish of the match. And
that was a really long. I mean, that was a long match for the pay per view. It
no,
really was.
Absolutely. And Homicide's whooping my ass. And I had to keep on looking over, and I'm looking over at the kind of getting an ass whooping. And I'm crawling around the ring, just fighting for survival, genuinely fighting for survival. And I look over, and I see Joe Galley, and I see Velvet Sky, and I see their eyes light up. And then I just kind of I slimmered over a moment. I saw the fans, and they were behind me, and the momentum, and Kerry. And it just, it was something that was undescribable that came out. It was like unleashing a new Kerry Morton, so to speak. And I knew that I had just a glimpse of a moment left before I was absolutely devastated within the ring. And
I mean, you were spent. And by the time it was over, you were spent. And you could tell that you were spent. Homicide still looked like he could go, but then again, he, like you said, he's beating your ass all night long.
Beat my ass all night long, and when the opportunity came, and I saw it, and I slimmered behind him and hit it with my running knee, the kiss of goodbye. I knew when he went back to that rope that the only way I was going to beat Homicide is if I beat him with his own move. And there he came off the rope, cutter, and as I crawled on top of him real quickly, and I hooked his leg as deep as I could hook it, locked my hands as tight as I could lock. One, I was expecting the unexpected, mind you. Two, I kind of just get this glimpse moment of here it goes. And then the referee hit 3. And then I have known, wow, this moment became a reality.
I mean, honestly, that was probably maybe your third or fourth shot at the championship. And I think that was probably your last shot. I think Homicide had said that you weren't going to get another shot at this.
That's absolutely right. He said, yeah, I won. I tried it. NWA 74, me and Homicide. From what the dirt sheets supposedly said, it was the match of the night, and very fortunate for that. It
was a great match, yeah.
Well, thank you, and that the credit to Homicide, genuinely, and I credit to me. But and then we ran it back again. The opportunity came, and the guys said, "Hey, let's do this again." And we went out there and did our job to the best of our ability. And mind you, let's talk about this for a second too. Let's address professional wrestling. Me and Homicide didn't discuss. We didn't talk. I didn't even see him. I genuinely didn't even see Homicide before we got to Gorilla. And mind you, there's referees back there and there's crew workers, so they're kind of holding you back where you can't see a lot. But I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was just like, I'm not gonna talk with this guy. I'm not gonna chat with this guy. I'm kind of breaking the fourth wall in professional wrestling right now, and I'm like, I'm actually going out there and I'm gonna fight this guy. And if you go back and watch the match of NWA Hard Times 3 and Chalmette, Louisiana, you guys can say,
yeah, it was a fight.
It was a fight. It was
it's exactly what it was. And not only was he fighting you, but he was also out there punching Punky. And it was like, why are you bothering Ricky? He's not doing a thing. He's minding his own business. I said, watch Kerry in the ring, for God's sake. This is the guy you better watch out for. Ricky's not going to pin you. Kerry will. But it just seemed like that the match was. I mean, honestly, it was a fight, but it was just. I mean, it was a good fight.
Thank you.
But it just seemed, again, like I said, it just seemed like you were fighting from the bottom all night, which made your win that much sweeter, I think.
Yes, sir. No, you're right there too, and that's something I'm very grateful for. And now coming up to this Saturday, we're going to Tampa, Florida,
Yeah,
So
you got Tampa this weekend, and better
NWA,
you than me.
yes sir. Well, NWA, enough said. We got to acknowledge that elephant in the room too. The head cover is Tyrus going against Matt Cardona, and then
Oh yeah.
underneath that is Alex Taylor versus Kerry Morton.
Yeah,
And
what's up with that whole thing? I mean, you guys, you win the champion series. I know again because I was there, nursemaiding the monstrosity that everybody was, and we'll leave it at that. Uh, but but he just comes out of nowhere after another, I mean, hard fought fight with Joe Alonzo, who, I mean, I think that kid may deserve a title shot sometime in the future.
absolutely.
But here comes Alex and here comes Deals. And Deals is very opportunistic. He always has been. But here they come out. They're going to challenge you. You're ready to go right then and there.
You know,
I mean, Kerry, I saw how tired you were. I saw what kind of beating you took to Alonzo, and I saw what kind of beating you put on him. I'm not so sure that you really wanted to do that with a fresh Alex Taylor out there.
No, I think Dills and Taylor saw the opportunity that existed in front of them. I just took an ass whooping. I rightfully got the win, with the running knee strike and a new maneuver I've been starting to use. And then, I'm pretty much dead at that point. We went 9 minutes, hard 9 minutes in front of that Knoxville audience, which was sold out and electrified.
Oh yeah, sold out in Knoxville.
And I was tired, I was down, but then I saw that, in the professional wrestling business, the closest ones to you usually become the ones that always bites when you're a little down. You know what I mean? When you're a little down, they begin to bite and they begin to nibble and they begin to pick you. And I think that's what Alex Taylor and Danny Dill saw. They rightfully, we won the championship series. They get the championship opportunity.
Sure.
And they were about to cash in. And, I was like, all right, well, this is everything I got. Then let's go.
But Kerry, I think the mistake was made by Deals by not going ahead and going through with the match at in Knoxville at the Live Power. I mean, now you've had a few days to rest, and you're going to go to Tampa. You're going to be fresh. I mean, honestly, it's going to be warm down there. We all know that.
That's right.
But it's a nice inside venue. You'll have air conditioning, but it's still going to be warm. The crowd's going to be super hot because it literally sold out, in days.
And yeah.
Days. And the card itself is just incredible. I mean, with Tyrus, Cardona, you and Alex, and you can go with, and Bully's going to be there on commentary for the main event. And you got, Murdoch's going to be there, fighting like he always fights.
Oh.
I mean, it's top to bottom. It's a great show. And then you've got you've got others that's not even on the show because it's kind of like, where are you going to put them?
Right. I mean, listen, the show sells itself, Joe, as you were just saying, to any professional wrestling fan that's not, that's missing out on this opportunity. I mean, geez, this is a show that is a contender already for show of the year for the National Wrestling Alliance, maybe show of the year for professional wrestling companies. Genuinely, this is such a stacked roster. You have WrestleManias, you have these big shows, but this is a really big deal, and that's something I look forward to the most. And mind you, I have a broken arm, as you guys can tell. I have a broken arm, and something I went to bat is I'm a fighting champion. Listen, I could have this title relinquished, or I can go out there and I can fight and show why I rightfully deserve to hold this championship.
And you've done that the last few times you've been out there. You're doing it, like you said, with a broken arm. I'm watching you the other night at Knoxville. You're throwing punches with your left hand. Sorry, Kerry, but your left hand punches are kind of weak. And no offense to that, but I mean, you didn't have the oomph behind your punch like you would with your right. I mean, it's there, but it's just the I mean, it'd be like me punching with my left arm. It's just not there.
You're absolutely right, Joe.
But you prevailed. That match with Joe Alonzo, though, man, that was a hard hitting match because you guys, honestly, I think you guys stayed out on the floor at least half the match, and binging and banging like a couple of pinballs off the guardrails. So I mean, that was tough.
Joe had something on his mind that night, and I guess all I'm worried about is, hey, like, I got to go out there, I got to give the fans their money's worth. I got to wrestle, and I have to wrestle with a broken arm, and I got to defend this championship. Although it wasn't it was a non-title match, I was still, I wanted to come out the victor. I'm a champion. I wanted to to show that, hey, I can do this with a broken arm. And mind you,
Exactly.
Joe took advantage of that and whooped the hell out of me. And
But the kicker is, if he'd have beat you, he's number one guy right now.
That's right.
So I mean, he could come at you at any given time. But you did. You got the 3 count, and honestly, there was some stuff on that show in Knoxville that was it was amazing. Just the matches themselves. I thought the Bullyway Odinson match was, I mean, that was off the chart wild.
That was wild.
I mean, it really was.
That was wild to see. I was very happy.
Table, Joe.
Do what?
There's not supposed to be a damn table, Joe.
Well, I asked Joe Galley earlier in the day. I said, "This is a non-tables match. Why is there a table right here?" And he said, they'll probably use it." But
Spank, I haven't heard from you for a second.
Yeah, because Papa Joe won't shut the hell up for once.
No, listen. What's on your mind, Spank?
Well, look,
tell me
Kerry,
about it.
I need to get to the bottom of something. Okay.
Okay.
Let me paint a picture, people. It's the month of June in La Follette, Tennessee, and it's hot out in that building. Okay, I'm out there at the Stuker. I'm managing. There's an Oreo ice cream bar in that freezer waiting on me. So after being out there in the ring and everything, I got swamp ass from head to toe. And all I can think about out there is that damn ice cream bar. And I get to the back, and that thing ain't even there. Somebody ate my damn Oreo ice cream bar. And I know Kerry Morton was hurt about it. I don't know if Kerry did. Someone tried to tell me Kerry did it. But I'm going to blame that damn Bob. Bruce, that's what I'm going to blame.
Don't confirm that, Kerry.
Spank, listen, I was not going to take their Oreo ice cream bar because, mind you, that building was so hot. Me and Matt Signum wrestled that night. What a genuine, badass wrestler Matt Signum is. One half of the Heat Sinkers. Anyways, I can talk about him more, but let's talk about the scenario. Very hot, this building. Mind you, a lot of the audience showed out in this smaller venue. A really, really nice house. It's very hot in there. They're all electric, and I know they're dehydrated. I was fasting leading into the day because I was kind of, I had to work Matt Signum, and I knew I wanted to have a really good match. I just drank water, but I was genuinely super hungry, and I was ready to eat. And
you didn't do it, did you?
No, listen, there was a freezer in the very back, and I happened to open it, and in there were a box of Oreo ice cream bars.
Oh, damn! Don't you say you did it? Oh,
no! And I said there was a box of Oreo ice cream bars, and I wanted to eat one so bad before I went out and wrestled. And I said, "Listen, guys," and I announced it to, although the locker room is divided and you can't really see into people, but they can hear your voice. And I said, "Listen, none of you touch these Oreo ice cream bars back here, and you better leave me one." And then Spank chimes in, and he goes, "And you better leave me one."
Well, that was the kiss of death.
That's 2. Mind you, this box held 4. I get back from the back. I was so, I just won. Oh my gosh, I was on top of the world. I just beat one half of the Heat Sinkers after an almost 20-minute brawl. Sweating head to toe. I'm drenched in sweat. My tights are all drenched. And I open that freezer, and there's that Oreo ice cream bar. And Spank is right after me. And he goes out there, and I don't know. I left. I walked outside, and then I came back in, and as Spank's walking through the curtain of the locker room, he opens that freezer, and there is no Oreo ice cream bar.
I go off. I start shooting on everybody in that locker room. I am pissed. I am livid because all I could think about was that damn ice cream bar. That's all I wanted.
So to make a long story short, those fans that are listening to this podcast, go bring Spank. Go bring the Spank. Bring him an Oreo ice cream bar to your next show when you go to see him in action.
Oh,
bring
God.
Him an Oreo ice cream bar.
As long as they don't throw him in the ring like they did the buckets of chicken the last time we were in Pete Ross.
I got hit in the eye with a chicken leg.
Oh, good Lord. Are you done with your ice cream story, Spanky?
I'm done now.
Can we go back to talking a little bit about professional wrestling?
That was our story about Oreo ice cream.
No, you're fine. You're good. You're good. All right. This Saturday, enough said in UFF, Tampa, Florida. It's on pay-per-view. I believe it's Fight TV. Am I correct?
That's right. Joe Chandler, are you going to be in attendance?
I will not be there, unfortunately. I will not be there. I'm sending Bobby Fulton down in my place.
Fair enough.
No, just kidding. Bobby's going to be there. No, I'm actually not.
That's a hell of a replacement, but I get it.
Bobby, you can't beat Bobby Fulton. no, I will not be in Tampa. It's too hot for me down there. No, but no, I'm not going to be in Tampa. But you got big Alex Taylor with Danny Deals in his corner.
That's right, jacked Alex Taylor, I should say, quote unquote. Alex looks great, best shape of his life right now. That animal, he's a beast, and I get to know him, Team Rock and Roll. And here's something you gotta acknowledge in professional wrestling too, and you gotta understand. I don't think that he caught on real quickly. Is you can't tell everyone the secrets. Although I helped coach Alex Taylor in the championship series, and I led the captain of the team. Alex gave me a lot of information, some things that he said, hey, this is what I'm good at. This is what I'm not necessarily good at. And that's something I acknowledged. And,
Alex likes to talk, man. I mean, we've all known that for years.
And I kept in the back of my mind. And now, as I'm preparing, as we're on this podcast here, I'm fasting right now, kind of getting in shape and kind of make my mind a little vulnerable, physically and mentally. Trying to be a little hard on myself. Like, hey, you have a big match this weekend. And this is how you have to be prepared for it. So that's something I'm going in, and I realize that, let's address it. I got the broken arm. I'm getting this off tomorrow, Wednesday. But still, I'm not going to be 100%.
No, absolutely not. No.
And I got to go out there, and I got to give the fans and Alex Taylor a run for their money. And that's something I'm going to do my damnedest to do.
Well, I tell you, man, with everything that's going on with the NWA, not only is Tampa this weekend, but you got Mexico coming up in March. Australia, I believe, is in April.
April 15th.
I don't know if they're going to take the whole crew to both places, but you're a world champion. You keep that thing through this weekend.
Yes, sir.
You may be going to Mexico, but you keep it in Mexico, you might be going to Australia. You just don't know.
That's right.
But I do know there's other things. Do what?
I believe Kerry is the only junior heavyweight champion, because I cannot recall another junior heavyweight champion in any promotion. There's a bunch of world champions, but there's only one junior heavyweight champion.
That's right.
I think you're right. Yeah.
So, and a lot of people don't understand the context of a junior heavyweight champion. Mind you, it's not age. People think it's there's a certain age requirement. No. There's no age requirement. It's the weight restriction of 225 pounds IBS or less. And that's something they you got to acknowledge is when you get to the NWA and you're going to be in a junior heavyweight championship match, they will weigh you in the locker room. They will stick to their word, and that's something. If you're an ounce over, there's no allowance. You're out. So that's something you always got to take into caution of these bigger opponents coming in and dropping down to the junior weight division. Is like, hey, this is a hard fought division that everyone's scratching and crawling to make their way to the top.
People think just because you hear the word junior, it lightens the whole situation, but it doesn't. Again, back in the day, I mean, you had world junior heavyweight champions. You had Les Thornton, you had Tony Charles, Denny Brown, downtown Denny Brown was the world junior heavyweight champion. Lasertron, of course, we all know him to be Hector Guerrero, but he was the world junior champion. And every one of the guys I just mentioned were, well, I think back then, the weight was 234 and under. Back then.
Yes, sir. You're right.
But now you're talking 225. Where are you right now? What, 210?
So I'm actually a little less than that right now since I've been fasting. Mind you, when I go to pay-per-view, I'll probably be a little bit heavier.
Yeah.
I'm actually around the 200 mark, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
I've been really kind of, with the broken arm, as you can all acknowledge, weight training is very tough and restrictive. Yeah. And I haven't been, and it sucks to say, I haven't been able to lift weights, really. I haven't been able to do a lot of stuff because I'm just doing cardio consistently and keeping up, and I'm doing things kind of for my neck training or like a little back training if I can, but mostly legs and powerful stuff and just fasting because, on this past Tuesday, mind you, professional wrestling business, you're in a business that people are always looking at you, and body dysmorphia is a real thing. And I look at myself and I'm looking at myself on screen. I will try to watch my matches back and watch the shows, and I just didn't like the way I looked. So hopefully I can change it up going into pay-per-view and be a little bit
I think you're going to be just fine this weekend, man.
Thank you.
Deals is arrogant. Alex is arrogant. You can use that against them. My money is on Kerry Morton this weekend. The experience, you are the champion. He has to beat you. You do not have to beat him. It's just kind of like all the other champions out there. It's like with Matt Cardona. He has to beat Tyrus.
That's right.
I mean, to put Tyrus on the map for a 3 count, that ain't going to be easy. I mean, it's not like, you're not putting down a 230-pound man. This guy's 350 pounds. He's 6'7", 6'8".
Right.
Tyrus is a big dude. Cardona's not little, but still. And I mean, I don't know that I don't know how many more championship matches there are other than yours and Tyrus. I'm not even sure that the World Tag Team Champions are defending Saturday. I'm not sure. I hadn't seen them on the card.
I haven't either, to say the least. And, I got to say this too, and I'm a betting man, which, often I'm really not because I don't have the best of luck. But I got to say, going into this weekend, and I talked to Matt Cardona in the locker room, mind you,
that he went, which again, I feel like that's what William Patrick Corgan wants. I think that's what they want, is they want the traveling champion. They want the name out there. The National Wrestling Alliance is gaining steam. I believe with all my heart that what the NWA is trying to do is have their own homegrown talent, so to speak, with you younger guys. I mean, there's only going to be so many more years that certain people can wrestle. I saw my better years 100 years ago. Your dad can still go, but he's a freaking bionic man.
Yeah.
I mean, I think your dad's going to go until the day he croaks. I mean, I believe with all my heart that your dad, if we were talking about Star Trek, I think your dad's a Borg. He's got these implants and these things that just makes him so big and bad and nasty at his age. So I mean, he's a freak of nature. But honestly, a lot of the guys aren't going to be able to continue just because the age will get them. I believe that the future, like you always said, you are the future legend. I believe the future is with you young guys. You, AJ, Kenzie Page, Ella Envy, Alex Taylor, Magic Jake, Matthew Mims. I mean, I think that you younger guys, I think, is exactly what the NWA is gearing themselves towards. Well, I mean, let me throw Silas Mason out there too.
Oh man, absolutely. What a throwbilly.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I remember when he allegedly broke his leg. Of course, it's allegedly. His first match back was on one of my shows, and it's like he didn't miss a beat. And right now he's the JCP champion. So I feel like that at some point there's going to be single gold around his waist from the National Wrestling Alliance, whether it's the national title or the world title or even both. Who knows?
Sooner than later, I believe too. I most definitely, kudos to him and what he's doing.
Oh yeah,
Throwbilly's the real deal, and that's something.
Oh yeah, all you guys are, man. All you guys are. I mean, you think about it. You were trained by the legend Ricky Morton. AJ Silas were trained by the legend Tom Pritchard. I mean, Kenzie Page, Tom Pritchard. I could continue and we could continue all night long, with that. But at this point, we're about 45 minutes into this thing, and we could talk all night. I know we could, but we're going to cut it short. But one thing I am going to do is I want you to get this last word out there, man. Talk about this weekend. Let's hear about Tampa.
Well, let's talk about it. Spank and Joe, first and foremost, thanks for having me on the show. And let's talk about Tampa, Florida this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. That's right. National Wrestling Alliance is coming to Tampa, Florida. Enough said. 3 and then 2 days of TV tapings afterwards. And something you don't want to miss if you're in the perceivable area. Come out, support professional wrestling. Mind you, I'm going in with an open mind, wrestling Alex Taylor on this stacked show of NWA Enough Said. And then with that being said, hopefully if I retain, I know 2 days of tapings follow up with some hard fought matches, possibly another title defense, give and take what the boss would like. And hopefully if I can retain, that's what's most important, is bringing that championship home and representing, my small town of Bristol, Tennessee, and representing the, people that believe genuinely. That's something that kind of really sticks out to me a lot is, the underdogs. You know, us underdogs, we still fight our way up that food chain.
You always have, man,
always have.
I am a major fan of Kerry Morton. I love your dad like he's a brother. Like I said, he's the only guy I've never had an argument with in the wrestling business. I argue with everybody, but I'm a fan of what you do. I'm a fan of the National Wrestling Alliance, and I don't think there's a better outfit out there than the NWA. From William Patrick Corgan to Joe Galley to Kyle Davis to Pat Kenny. I mean, I'm probably forgetting somebody, but
you hit the point.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great company, good people, genuine people.
For all those dirt sheets out there that's listening, mind you, take something from Joe Kazana that this company is very well together or well structured. There's a great locker room environment and
no drama, and that's what's cool about it.
Listen, and this is something too we got to acknowledge real quickly. Is those little showboaters on Twitter that don't want to support the National Wrestling Alliance, mind you, because of a champion or the standpoint of someone. Guys, listen, professional wrestling is an art, and our art is not for everyone specifically. But please, for those that do continue to watch and support us, it doesn't go unnoticed, and we appreciate that. And those dirt sheets that don't believe in the National Wrestling Alliance, you should bet on us.
Exactly.
You should bet on us because I'm telling you now, 2023 is already on a roller coaster momentum. But this company is going to do the undoubtable here soon. And if you were a betting person, I promise you're going to want to put some stock in the National Wrestling Alliance.
I got to agree 100% with Kerry Morton on that deal. And I'm going to go one step further because I'm an old guy and I don't care what people say about me. All you guys that are out there that are on Twitter, that are on Instagram, that bash the product. And now Legursky said it best a couple of weeks ago. If you're out there bashing the product and you've never seen it, keep your mouth shut. Give not only the NWA, but even the smaller groups like, JCP for one. I mean, give independent wrestling, man, is huge. But like I said, if you've never seen the product, there's no reason to talk about it. Just keep your mouth shut.
Damn right.
Watch the product. Same goes for my promotion. If you've never seen it, come watch it. If you don't like it, then that's your opinion. If you don't like the NWA and you've seen it, that's your opinion. But I'll tell you this, not one negative anything that I've heard came out of Knoxville. Nothing. It was a top-notch show, top-notch talent. And I mean, like I said, I can't think of a better group of guys to work with. And I can't think of a better group of wrestlers than this in the National Wrestling Alliance. And with that said, Kerry Morton, Kerry James, as your dad would call you, thank you so much for doing this podcast, man. I appreciate it. And I'm going to wish you all the best in Tampa and wherever it is you go from there, North Dakota, South Dakota, Canada, or wherever you're going to go. I mean, that little country down in the Caribbean, wherever it is you're going to defend, I wish you all the luck in the world. Spanky, I appreciate you doing what you do out there, even though all you talked about was an ice cream.
Listen, Spank, sorry we didn't get a lot of your questions tonight, but I'll have to go on in the foreseeable future, and we'll do some more show and tell.
Yeah, we'll bring another. We'll bring you back on again. But for now, this is Joe Kazana, Kerry Morton, The Spank. Thank you, folks, for watching. Make sure you watch Nuff Said this weekend on Fight TV, and we'll see you next week.